There we go. There we go. Okay. I need to remove this freaking floor. Go red. I don't know what that is. Okay, pin. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 35, 6, 36, 35 seconds, brother. How you doing, my brother Julio? All right, let me get this set up real quick. I'm still slow. Auto find and activate. Live chat. Doing good, my brethren. Doing good. What up, Brianna? That's how long that was live before you got here, Julio. I do a up count as soon as I hit start. Katra has made it in 35 seconds. Seeing if anybody can make it any sooner. Oh no, what did I just do? Oh. Now I got me a okay, there we go. That's working. I got me a oh, hold on. Let me see let me get this working first. That's a good question. Who knows? Let's see what we got to talk about. Let's see. Okay, I gotta figure out. I need to figure out. I have no idea, Julio. I got no idea. I just figured I was gonna hit go, and whatever happens, happens. Try to guide people in the right direction, answer questions. But obviously, we're gonna have something fun. I want to try to find something other than people hurting themselves and being so. What up, Billy boy, brother, man? All right, let me see YouTube. Let's see if we can find something interesting to watch. Maybe something wholesome. Oh, damn it! But I keep getting led to the freaking expensive super fails on camera. I wonder if it's because my name is I Fail First that I get so many of those. Maybe, and I watch them for like 9 hours a day on the stream. Chuck Norris read the top 10 jokes. 105. Firewood processors. Let's see. Dang. Oh man, I was just looking at that Air Canada crash. Yeah, I tell people to that have anxiety problems to keep them on hand because your brain, like panic attacks and anxiety, because your brain can only handle like one emergency at a time, and taking really sour candy like warheads can shift. If you're not anxious, if you're anxious for no reason or have a panic attack for just sitting there, there's nothing to be panicked about. It can shift your attention from your anxiety to the sour, or you can do that with spicy things too. All right, let's see. Let's see. Brain. Yeah, what's that about? Okay, all right, maybe we can watch that again. Not again. Uh-oh. What is that? Stupidest mistakes caught on camera? Oh man, that just seems like so much more fun to do. I learn something new every day. Yeah. I learn dozens of new things every day, dude. Yeah, that's what I love about this channel. We teach things. Pilot died, co-pilot died, and truck driver injured. That's amazing. Look at how bad this accident was. And it was while it was trying to take off, the plane hit a fire truck. Air Canada fire truck collision. Dude, yeah. Luckily, it hit the back of the truck, not the front of the truck. But look at this. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see it. Look at that. It was Air Canada in New York City. It just happened a couple hours ago. 12 hours ago, it looked like. or yesterday. I mean, I don't know what time, but yeah, that's crazy. No, nobody. There's one of the not stewardesses. What are they called on airplanes? Flight attendants. She was in her seat and she got ejected. She's in the hospital too. She's not dead. Like, yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, it happens. It happens when people aren't paying attention. Yeah. That's why you got to pay attention. And that's what, like, all the stuff we've been showing here, it's like the same type of thing. It's like people not paying attention, right? Like you have to have a good team. And when you're flying, your team, it consists of air traffic controllers. And there was another issue that the fire truck was going to on the other side of the airport. And the fire truck was on its way to the other issue, and it had to cross over. And one of the air traffic controllers said, go ahead, cross. But there was already a plane getting ready to take off. It was already like, heading down the runway. And then he was like, stop. And it was a fire truck for the airport. It was a rescue vehicle. My name is Torrance. I was born in 1775. I'm like 300 and something, but I'm still alive. What up, oh papito? The fire truck couldn't go around. No, it had to cross the runway. It had to cross the runway to get to another runway where there was another plane that needed assistance. The fire truck didn't do anything wrong. The fire truck was told to go. One air traffic controller told the plane to take off, and one air traffic controller told the fire truck to go help the other plane that needed help. Yeah. No. It was just, in a plane, you can't see all the way down the runway, and you can't see the ground. Remember, you can't look through your seat, and you're way up in the air. So they start going. They're going, almost 150 miles an hour? And then a truck pulls out in front of them. You ain't stopping. Yeah, no, it wasn't foggy. No, it was human error. It wasn't weather. It was human error. The air traffic controllers weren't communicating with each other, and they're not. There's apparently, like, a lot of them aren't getting paid right now. There's a government shutdown, so they're probably overworked and whatnot. But yeah, that's the problem. No, the truck driver was told to go. The air traffic controller told the truck driver, there's an issue with a plane. Go ahead. You've got clearance to cross, clearance to use this path. And somebody else told the Air Canada plane, you have permission to take off. And then another air traffic controller tried to tell the truck to stop, but by the time the truck stopped, it had already happened. Yeah, it was. Yeah. There's video footage. Yeah, I'm not watching it because I don't want to show it. But yeah, there's lots of footage. Yeah, it's all over the news. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah. Here's ABC LaGuardia. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't like watching people get killed though. There's CCTV, there's cell phone footage, yeah, you go watch it. I don't like, that's not my thing. I don't like watching people die. Yeah, all you have to do is type in Air Canada and it'll come up first thing. Everybody's talking about it. Yeah, Air Canada accident, LaGuardia Airport, Air Canada accident, New York. Yeah, that's not my deal. That's not what I'm interested in. This is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in people
sometimes unexpected moments
doing dumb things but living through it.
In this compilation, we will see funny situations.
What's up,
and
Lefty?
Unforgettable failures where mistakes become moments of entertainment.
You back? You got your VPN on this time? What up, Seth? Yeah. We gotta be. Oh. What did I ask? Oh, hold on, what did I ask?
They just revealed with their own hands the evidence against them.
They filmed their own crimes.
We're not evil.
I guess they bought it. Lost your wig. Oh. Fire truck with a plane. Yeah, what if fails, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna be watching that though. Yeah, I don't like frickin' planes, dude. I'm not a big fan. I don't trust. I don't trust the way the system. I used to work for the BWI, Baltimore Washington International
cam
Airport,
emitted 3
and dude,
warnings,
there was a bunch of
but
just
none of them
drunks
paid
and coke
attention.
heads and people stoned all the time that have very important jobs. I used to work. I used to work. Oops. I used to work for Iceland Air and Air Jamaica, and so I had to be there at like 5 o'clock in the morning for Air Jamaica. For Air Jamaica and Iceland Air landing, I had to unload freaking 80-pound boxes of frozen salmon, like big at like. Oh, it sucked so bad, especially when it was cold in Maryland. Like that, you're outside freezing, and then you're dealing with big blocks of ice. It sucked. It sucked. I was 16 though. It was a great job for the time, but yeah. Nice. Pizza? Oh.
And that was
Whoa.
the last time she entered the kitchen.
What is my job today? Eat you wackadoos. A little too much pressure in the tire. Oopsie. Oh, there it goes. Hair on fire.
It was precisely her quick reaction that brought the smile back to her face.
People just don't have any idea. Oh, no.
The consequence of concentrating
People not paying
too much on
attention,
recording
man.
instead of working.
What happened?
That's her hat. Oh, making me dizzy. At least she didn't stand up and get hit in the face with it. Yeah, I'm a YouTube partner. If it was copyrighted, I can't play it. It would stop the stream. I'm doing my dream job.
It seems that the habit of draining the pasta water has
Raj.
become a conditioned reflex.
And YouTube is fun too. I've made enough. This is just fun. I don't need a job anymore.
It seems that she just
Dream
wanted
jobs
sense
are
the
not to
depth
have
of the
jobs. You
water.
should have your own companies. You shouldn't want to work for to make other people rich.
Arena.
Ooh, there you go. Uh-oh. Oh! Damn. Went up and just stole his food. Oh, I'll spit right on him.
Even went around her body to send the girl a full-blown kiss.
Ugh. Oh. That's why people eat animals.
It already flew.
Oh. Twisted that ankle. Oh, there it goes.
Things always tend to cry somehow.
I don't watch any sports. I used to play sports. I used to fun, but when I lived in where I used to live before, I used to go to games, baseball mainly, and every once in a while I'd go to football or basketball games, but mainly baseball is what I used to watch. Then I basically it got to the point where so once you learn how a lot of it is fake. A lot of it's set up. They can play some of it, but the end is fake because there's so many people that make money off of gambling that a lot of the players, a lot of the coaches are like, hey, you can make $1 million on this game to throw it at the end, and then they say, hey, you're up to bat last. Make sure you flub it. Make sure And it's unfortunate, but it's true. And if you look at the big bust that happened in, I think it was September or November of 2025, all the mobsters, the crime families. Here, look. They were setting up. They were ringing a bunch of coaches. I think it was mainly NBA. A bunch of the coaches, players got caught working with the mob to rig games and whatnot. Look. Italian crime family gambling bust 2025. Bust. October, sorry. Federal authorities announced a massive takedown of illegal gambling with the Italian-American mafia La Cosa Nostra, involving 30 arrests implicating professional NBA figures and rigged poker games. The investigation revealed 4 of New York's crime families, Gambino, Bonanno, Lucchese, and Genovese families, were involved in running high-stakes rigged poker games, illegal sports betting, and financial for organized crime. NBA was involved. So yeah, it's what up, Big Father? Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Go for it. Report it all you want. Report it all you want. I don't think you know how reporting works. Yeah, so what once you and you see how like money took over. Like, do you know how like everything's gambling now, Billy? Like, see how everything's gambling? Like, you can bet on anything. You can bet on presidential elections, like using. You can bet on if a player does well, not just if a team does well, right? So say a bunch of people are gambling on gambling apps about individual players, and it gets up to the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars saying this guy will do bad this game. So then you just call them and say, hey, you want $100,000? Call in sick that game. Or call in not sick but injured, and they'll be like, oh, I twisted my ankle, I need to take a game off to heal it, and then you win. Like, you can bet on all of this stuff. So now that's got completely out of control, everything's gone fake. So I'm not giving them my money. I'm not giving them my money to fake stuff. The players you want to see, imagine showing up paying hundreds of dollars to go to a game to see your favorite player that doesn't show up because of a gambling, like he's been paid off by the crime families to sit this game out. And you go to see the prize players, and the prize players are bought and sold. So yeah, it's all fake. It's like how wrestling, like WWE, WWF used to be back in the day, but we knew it was fake. But we weren't gambling. We weren't saying, hey, kids, anybody 18 years older, bet your lunch money on how this wrestling match is going to go, because we knew it was entertainment. but now we're finding out that professional is now just entertainment also.
Karma
Yeah,
usually
yes,
comes very
bigot.
quickly and in a way that you
Hunter.
don't expect.
Everybody does it ain't Jew, Indian, Christian, Muslim. It ain't any of that. It's you got bad people and you got good people. It's people that act like they're part of groups to get the trust of other people in order to take advantage of them. It's called deception. Yeah, and people can blame it. They can get caught. And you have people that have been running a scam for a long time and they get caught and then they say, oh, it wasn't me, it was the Muslims or the Christians or the Jews. Yeah, it's just like, it's all wackadoo. Did you get your nose upgraded to a larger size? Because Aaron, I'm not Jewish. I'm not Jewish, Sean. I used to skateboard a whole lot. I broke that son of a bitch about 12 times. Bam. Bam. Hold on 1 second. We'll finish this second. Hold on 1 second. Oh, come on, bro. All right, 1 second. I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay, let's see. Do you the war in Iran? Do I what, Bobby? Poop right now. I had to get some water, brother. Support. Listen. I just want whoever is evil to be wiped out and not and the citizens not be hurt. If we don't know exactly what's going on. We can say the frickin' Israelis are buying the Americans and frickin' the Iran. We got no idea what's actually going on. A bunch of just people just bitching about stuff that they know nothing about. What is obvious is that Iran was about to attack their neighbors because the missiles that they launched and attacked their 13 neighbors were pre-programmed when Iran got when the Ayatollah got hit. So that was already happening. So we know that they were ready to attack their neighbors. So I hope that the Iranian people, the Persians, which whatsoever, I hope that they do. I hope that they end up with a bunch of leaders. I hope these new leaders are not as crazy and make sure that everything runs good. That's what I hope. And I hope the least amount of people die that have to. 60% of the people are almost completely illiterate. Yeah, right. I agree, Jama Mama. I agree. That's the hope. Yep. Right. And what I appreciate that we don't have 100,000 people on the ground losing their lives just in order to spend bullets so that more bullets can be bought so that armament companies can make more money. Because most presidents would have flooded that place caused lots of lives because they have stock in the armament companies. And then the stock goes up when every bullet that's fired, a bullet needs to be purchased. That raises the stock of those companies. And he didn't do that yet. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Yeah, not yet. Right. I'm not saying I'm only talking about what we have now. A lot of times people talk like Biden or Trump's presidency is over already. So we don't know. Like they'll speak like, look, he didn't do this. Well, he still got freaking 3 more years, So like, we'll see. And I wasn't a fan, but right now, right. Yeah. Right. We'll see. Right. But I'm not going to waste my brain power on dreaming but if I was a betting man, I would say it's not going to happen. I would say we're not going to have a full-on Vietnam-style war. I'd say we have too much technology now too. So yeah, I would say we don't. I would say, but we don't know. We got no clue. I think they want the oil, and if the oil comes through, fine, cool. If the locals want to keep stopping the oil from flowing, other countries will run out of their reserves, and other countries will get involved to make sure the oil will flow. That's it. That's it, right? They're also playing oil stocks. Right. That's exactly what it is. Market manipulation, exactly what it is. I agree, 100%. How are you? Thank you very much, Gil, brother. Are you? I'm not a fan. This is a problem, Gil. I'm not a fan. You said I'm a fan. I didn't say I'm a fan. I'm not a fan. You just want to start trouble. I don't care. I am not a fan. Absolutely not. I'm speaking of what we know and what is happening. That's all I am. You cut your nails. Do you cut your nails? That's not so good. I agree. I'm not a fan. Yeah, right. And it'll get closer and closer. That is the truth. But we can't just make stuff up in order for argumentation, right? I don't care. I want politics to be gone. I don't care about the left. I don't care about the right. You can both eat a bag of dicks. I don't care either way. I want the shit to go gone. I want my family and my company to do well in my neighborhood, my community. That's what I want. I don't want all this crap going on. I would rather worry about fixing and putting the resources where we need them here and get the frickin' old people out of the Democrats and the Republicans. 100%. I feel a bit conflicted about it. Of course, we want to end evil regime, but also look what happened in Iraq and Vietnam, pretty much anywhere else. Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%, right? But the problem is too many people talk about it like they know what they're talking about. None of us know what we're talking about. You might believe you know what you're talking about, but we only know what we're allowed to know. I spent 15 years in the movie industry making this propaganda. I know that we do not know what they know, plain and simple. There's no reason the presidents of the United States for the past 40 years need to be on the internet and on TV telling us what conversations they're having with other leaders. That's for us to hear. That does not need to happen. And what are we going to do? Oh, how dare he or she not do that? No. It's for us to hear so that, listen, politicians that are on the internet make more money on the internet than they do from their political salaries. I didn't say I was a fan. We're regime change the country. I just said I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of anything. What's going on,
didn't
Adam,
expect
brother?
anything, but they still managed to disappoint me.
We regime changed so many countries in South America too. Yep. Yeah. You think so? You think so? What do you have in your country, bigot hunter? In your country, what are the political parties there, bigot hunter? So what's about the Epstein files? Yeah. Right. What about it? Switch the mode from 5G NSA to 4G, much faster. Gotta love the infrastructure. I love the lack of infrastructure. South Africa, brother. I'm a fan of people not dying, is what I'm a fan of. I love living. Oh, the infrastructure's good in the city. It's your fault for living on a mountain. Yeah, I could be wrong. I kind of like your YouTube. It's interesting. You seem like an intelligent person. Let's have a conversation. Thank you, Bobby. I try my best. Yep, I like people. I stand on the cliff. The signal gets really good. You hold your phone up over your head.
If they're not blood brothers, then they must be best friends.
I remember back in the 3G days, that stuff was supposed to be fast, but you had to like stand in the right spot. I worked for Ritz Camera back in the day. This is when phones were just becoming digital. Like they were analog for a while. Sprint PCS created the first all digital network back then. And so we would start, Ritz Cameras sold Sprint phones, and they were the first ones to go to 3G. And I remember you had to stand in like one corner of the store, and that's where like we would go to show people how cool it was, because if we were closer to the registers, they wouldn't work. Mossad funds secular or liberal parties to weaken the state in Pakistan because they hate Muslims. They hate Muslims to have nukes. Nuke brings power, and they think if Iran gets nukes, the Jews are in danger. Yeah, I mean, people that are in power want to keep their power and want to expand their power. Israel, America, Iran, they all want to expand and or keep what they have and not lose anything. So everybody's got enemies, but people are biased against people that they're not. So they think that that's all it is, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Where's a place that's not like that? Where's a place that doesn't want their enemies to have more firepower than they do? When power goes off, the towers run on backup batteries. Stolen. Jesus, time goes on, the voltage decreases, and I slowly from one side of the house to the other. And very important. Very important. So it's very important for cooperation. That's how things get the best. And colder climates have more cooperation than warmer climates. Places that don't have winter, they don't need cooperation. They can just leave. If they get mad at somebody, they can just walk away and not resolve conflict, and they can go eat fruits off the trees. You don't have to worry about making sure you can survive the winter. So that's why a lot of warmer tropical climates have a lot less cooperation and a lot less cohesivity. Cohesiveness. Eventually I go outside and then off the cliff. No, hell no. No, not a damn chance. No. I'll vote for a Democrat and a Republican. The problem is you have to understand, most people don't know what they're talking about at all. No, they're so biased towards either the Republicans or the Democrats that they get tricked into voting blue down the line or red down the line. But here's why that's bad. Fake Republican running as Democrat. Fake Democrat running as Republican. Okay, so you have people that just want to win. They don't care, right? So they'll run as Republicans or Democrats in areas where people don't know what they're talking about, and they just vote blue no matter who or red no matter what. Fake.
I'm not a real Republican. Like, I'm telling people the truth. I knock on a door and I say I'm running in the Republican primary, but I'm not a Republican. I'm a progressive.
Confused about why someone would run as a fake Republican or a fake Democrat. It actually makes a lot of sense.
Right, it makes a lot of sense. So these people, they just want to win. They know that they can just rob the treasury and do whatever they want. So if you're going to vote Democrat no matter what, you're a moron. If you're going to vote Republican no matter what, you're a moron. If you want to be involved in politics, you've got to follow the person and see what they do, because they're not running to lose. If you're going to lose as a Democrat in a Republican lockdown, you're going to lose. Right? So you're going to run as a Republican, and that's what people do. So if you hate Republicans and you vote Democrat, you're going to be voting Republicans in, and vice versa. And it's a big problem. People don't even think that far ahead to understand. What we miss, bigger picture, waste energy, is zero dumb. Yes, absolutely. How many people on average, percent-wise? A lot. Probably 20%. A lot of people talk politics. Yeah. We do a lot. We do a lot of stuff. A lot from freaking science to ecology, biology, comedy, fart jokes, chickens, welding, lots and lots. Using blowtorches for weeding, growing your own food. Yeah, everything. And try to teach people, especially people that say Democrats are great or Republicans are great. You better not vote that way. You better not vote that way because people, like, you have gangs and mobs and cartels that will pay people to run as whatever to get them in to win as whatever they are. I live in Atlanta. It's Republican run. But that guy, he acts like a thief. He just robs everything and makes sure that the cartels can sell fentanyl and coke and stuff all in Atlanta without issues with crime and whatnot. So it's the same thing. They call them rhinos and dinos, Republican in name only and Democrat in name only. So people are so easily suggestible so that they think, oh no, I won't be able to do this unless I vote Democrat. But that's not true. That's not true. It depends who you're voting for. And if you just go to vote Democrat or all Republican, you're voting in people from the other side. That's why everything's so twisted. Election voting is a logo. Chance rest is the same governance. Yep. Richard throws a bone with some car talk. That's right. Car talk. What up, Noms? Thank God there's some people talking sense out there. Yeah, eventually it was bound to happen, right? It was bound to happen eventually. What's the real substance? What is reality of substance abuse on Earth? Yeah, a lot, dude. I think it's like 60% of people have either an alcohol or drug issues. Like they can't go 5 days without using. They don't use for celebration. They don't say, hey, I'll smoke some weed because I got a promotion or I just graduated, so let's get drunk or whatever. No, they're like, it's Wednesday, let's get hammered. Media tries to trick us into thinking we're against the world. Berlin, right? Stoney said drugs out. Oh boy. Rhinos and dinos, winos. Oh my. Rhinos and dinos and winos. How you doing, B2B, brother? I haven't been high since I was 12. I'm perfectly good. Call me God's gift. Hey, brother. That's freaking congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. Facebook will show us comments specifically from the most extremist people to push our buttons. Right, and a lot of those people don't live in America. Like the guy that was just here a second ago, Bigot Hunter. He's not an American, and he wants to cause problems. Like, he doesn't know. He says Democrats are cooler, not bigots like Republicans. He's got no idea what he's talking about. He's not even an American. So he just says this because if he can get enough people to follow him, make a little bit of money off of the internet. That's way more in his country than he could hope to make, like, as in his own country. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people outside of America know that people get so easily triggered, and I just don't get triggered because I know what I'm talking about. I worked in the industry for 15 years that's its sole purpose is to trick you into having an emotional reaction. Oh, jeez, dude. That definitely can happen, brother. Absolutely. Listen, thank you, Noms, like absorbing info. Purposely creates a gambling attitude in people. Yep, that's exactly right. It's biased. They're telling people don't be racist, but be biased or bigoted towards the two parties. Like, instead of saying, oh, white people, black people, you say Republican, Democrat. But if you want to know the truth, there is trans Republicans, there is black Republicans, there are gay Republicans. But if you listen to the people on the internet, they can only be part of the Democrat Party. So they're obviously being deceptive. So don't get wrapped up in it, because you can produce, you can be of service, you can make money, you can do great things as long as you don't get wrapped up in that. They want all your attention. If you're constantly looking to see what AOC or Trump's saying on the internet, they're making money off of that. What's the difference between World 1850 and 1950 present world? Between 1850 and 1950, the big things were the Industrial Revolution, the creation. Remember, we didn't have hard liquor before really the Industrial Revolution. A lot of things like that happened, and the pharmaceutical industry revolution. The pharmaceutical industry figured out how to make pharmaceuticals from crude oil. That's where our pharmaceuticals come from. and like that caused a big sway away from people taking care of their own health, and they offshored it to doctors and whatnot, rather than being the ones that were in charge of their own health. So yes, the reason why religion, and depending on the religion too, some religions have been hijacked to crafted for 100% control, right? So but the reason religious books are good for nations is because it tells you what they're going to do. It's already a framework that's written out, how you deal with different things. And if people say, this is the framework I'm going to follow, and then they don't, you know that they're being deceptive, and then you know not to follow them. So that's why it's good. If they try to push you away and be progressive, fake progressives, like I used to be a progressive, but now the progressive movement got hijacked. I'm 49. So that got hijacked, and you see now they're talking about not wanting to pit crops and stuff, so they're just going back to slavery, calling it something different. Look, we'll have the government pay you, not the companies. That means the companies that are running this stuff, they don't want to pay their slaves, or else they would be called employees. So what they're doing is they're having the government pay them and house them. Slaves have always been fed and housed in America. And so if companies can get the government to house and feed their slaves, then they can pay them much, much less money. Right. So it's not chattel slavery. What's wrong with being a little edible before dinner? 600. Jeez, don't do that. We had silver quarters. Yep, we definitely did. Yeah, pharmaceuticals are made from oil. Yes. Petroleum-based pharmaceuticals. Petroleum. Many common medicines and pharmaceuticals are derived from petroleum. They're called petrochemicals. Key examples: aspirin, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, antihistamines, antibiotics, petroleum jelly. Go and on. Yeah, so hate causes wars, right? I'm kind of new to YouTube live feeds. I've been trying to figure out why folks watch these. You're at least engaging in conversation. YouTube, yeah. You make money. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Will silver be more valuable than gold in the future? No. Silver won't be more valuable than gold, but silver's going to go up quite a bit. And I'll tell you why. The new batteries that they're coming out to replace lithium ions are sodium silver based. The anodes and cathodes require silver. The new memory chips, the Z memory, is going to use stacks of silicon chips. The interconnects on those silicon chips are going to use silver rather than copper, because copper still doesn't have low enough resistance. So you got to be able to reduce the amount of heat. You do that by using better conductors. Silver's a better conductor than copper, but not and better than gold and less expensive than gold. So more silver will start being used. The new solar panels for a lot of the communication satellites are going to be silver based or silver enriched solar panels to get more electron movement on the surface of the the silicon. And that will all cause huge rises in the cost, in the value of silver. Start mewing. I don't know how. I tried. I don't know how to do it. We had hard alcohol further back. Sure, right, but not mass produced, right? Like not mass produced. You can't go to the liquor store and buy. Right, You had craft stuff. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Hold on to copper. Monday. Silver went back up and down. Yeah, it'll go back up. Yeah. A lot of people got into silver. January of 2025, silver was at $20. It's now at like almost 70, and it went up to 120. So a lot of people that were never into silver before investing got into it. And then when it started to drop, they freaked out because they didn't want to lose their money. So they sold, and that's from listening to the news. The news will cause anxiety, and then people will do anxiety trading. They'll sell, and that causes spikes. But the people that run the news, the companies that run the news, know when they're going to report that. So then when they report it, wait till the crash, then the rich people can come in and buy it even lower, and then it'll pop back up again once it recovers. They'll be like, oh, oops, I messed up, and they'll get back in. Water or the lake will be worth water, or the lake of water will be worth more than ore. Eventually, yeah, absolutely. Are you a really nice guy, but not too smart? Hey, okay, all right, brother. Thank you, Big It Hunter. Moon landing's real. Yeah. We've got evidence now. So 2 things can be true. We went to the moon. That can be true, and also some of the footage from the moon was not filmed on the moon. 2 things can be true. Lack of water, water or the lack of water. Right. What the World War IV will be over water. Right. Yes. Please, I hear knowing about what I'm pleased to hear. I found it fascinating. Thank you, my friend. I'm 40. You say I'm 49. Yeah. So one of the big things, especially for young people, have to know that most AI is fake. It's fake. If you look up AI washing, a lot of companies are using automation tools and they're saying it's AI, so so people will invest in them. Like you can just ask. You can just say why is AI marketing so deceptive? AI marketing can be deceptive. It enables companies to exaggerate product capabilities, generate fake content like deepfakes and reviews, and manipulative consumer behavior through opaque algorithms. Regulators, blah, 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 blah. AI washing. Companies use AI as a magic word to imply advanced capabilities that do not exist, often relying on simple automation or human review instead. So it's not actually at where they say. They say with more money and more time, we will be able to replace all your humans. What's that? Silver is the most electronic conductor. That's exactly right. And more conductive means less heat. Less heat means less waste energy. Yep. How much is a silver quarter worth? I think it's if it's a quarter of an ounce, it's worth $27. Spot price silver value of a quarter. $13 to $15 because it's only 90% silver. Hello. Most all of it is that you have access to is fake. Yeah. It can't do what they say it can do. They say what it will be able to do. And a lot of people, like if you want to see an actor fighting another actor, they'll hire them 2 actors to do the fight scene on an old movie set and then say they did it with AI. And how are you going to prove them wrong? You're like, wow, that's amazing. Yes. But remember, video games could already do that. Video games could already do all the automation, the skeletons, the rigging for the fingers and the bones. And we have every digital pixel version of every famous actor. So it's not very difficult to use background cutout automation and then skins automation to have the skeletal structure 3D model of a human and then wrap that digital skin around it. Use a little motion blur and you're in. But you're attractive all trades master. Thank you, my friend. Why energy production, economy, prices, life, health, prosperity? Why go hand in hand? Because most of our pharmaceuticals are based on oil, petrochemicals. So the pharmaceutical price goes up when oil goes up, and people don't fix their own health. They ask doctors to fix it. Most issues in humans is vitamin and mineral deficiency or parasitic infection. Plain and simple. If you have ADHD, you likely have a vitamin B12 deficiency. I have ADHD, but I take a B12 supplement, so it's not debilitating anymore. I've got ADHD and I can do this. I can change topics every single chat, keep up and everything's fine. But I don't take any pharmaceuticals for it anymore. I just take vitamins. If you do your research and you look which vitamin deficiencies cause ADHD symptoms, not ADHD, because it'll just say vitamin deficiencies don't cause ADHD. Right. What vitamin deficiencies cause ADHD symptoms? And then you'll say this, because the doctor never tested your blood to see if you have ADHD. They told you did, but the symptoms are the same as B12 deficiency. AI is going to make it worse. Photoshop is AI now. Yep. But those are a lot are automation tools, right? Mark my words, silver is going to be gold. I don't know. I mean, I agree that could possibly work. AI don't stand for artificial intelligence. Algorithm information. If your internet is power, what are you without it? If internet is your power, the same thing. Internet's not my power. I can do this in groups of people too. I could gather groups. I could go to bars, restaurants, meeting places, and do the same thing. My power is my ability to communicate with everybody, regardless of their religion, sex, creed, color. Don't look up confused by acronyms. What reality is, it's a new era. All right, brother Billy. When I bought Silver's 23 an ounce. Yep, you're doing good. What's up, Mal? Once development happens, it's only going to be better unless undone. Think about what's going to happen. There's going to be a plateau because you can only get so much RAM and processors for so much money. Once people stop, and remember, AI lies more than half the time when asking new stuff. Almost up to 90% of the time. People are going to get tired of constantly being lied to, failing out of college because their AI written paper was completely incorrect and so on and so forth. So it's going to get to a time when it'll be like, hey, people understand it. Just like politics. Everybody believed Democrats were the way through. Then they believe Republicans are their way through. But it's the same. Now everybody thinks AI is the way through. It's all just going to fatigue. I'm here by choice. I'm not forced to do nothing. I'm growing. 10 million strong. 10 million strong and growing. I used AI to make Minecraft mod and lots of other mods to pull from. Right, exactly. It can't create a mod. It can't create something new. You can't say make a mod that's better than any other mod ever made. It won't know what you're talking about. Jailbroken AI, any comments? Jailbroken AI? I haven't played with it enough, but the data set that AI pulls from, and if you really want to look, Bobby, look at the source code. Look at the source code. I know it's huge to deal with. Look at the source code, and you'll see that it basically has a lot of automation subroutines that it pulls from. It doesn't say just, hey, listen to this guy and how do you feel about it? Because it doesn't feel. But so many text conversations, emails and stuff. Listen, Gmail, if you have Gmail for free, every single email you use, if you have Google Voice or an Android, every text message between you and your girlfriends and your wives and your friends, it knows the text that you sent and how they replied. And if they replied with a thumbs up or a mad emoji or whatever, then that was the emotion tied to those responses. So it can just pull from databases. It doesn't actually feel, but it knows. It can say this is how humans feel when this says, because there's a database that has that information. Since a lot of code is for mods and public, right. Moore's law is a joke because new ways of computing are emerging. Speed of light, ultimate limit. Right, but the problem is it's very difficult, and those machines are very, very, very large. Right. So so like quantum computers are not general purpose computing. You can't play a game on them. They can only do one thing really well. So they're supplements. They're like process boosters for particular things. If you want it to be able to do subtraction, you've got to reconfigure it, and it takes freaking $3 million to do it and whatnot. Yeah, it's not as kick-ass as the advertising. I used to try to joke, right? What's up, AI? I like AI. Makes my life easier. Yeah, I don't use like ChatGPT or anything, but as a search engine, yeah. But I only use it for things I already know to show my audience. If it doesn't respond, if it responds with something that's just it trying to make it money. Like for instance, if you ask it about your health, it'll tell you to contact a doctor, or it'll tell you to contact one of its sponsors, advertisers. And rather, because that's what it's there for. It's there to make money. It's not there to save humanity at all. So, yeah. You're talking about AI stuff. Don't you have a good understanding of it? I don't think you have a good understanding of it. I don't underestimate tech. That's fine. And why do you think that? Because you feel that way? Why don't you think I have a good understanding on it? What do you know? Not what have you heard in marketing and advertising, but what do you know that makes you think that? Mod, better than any other mod. Hey, I just added 2 more thoughts. All right, what up, Elliot, brother? What is your history, bro? In a short sentence, if you could, degrees of job history. Dropped out of high school after 11th grade. I got forced in to go to college because I was too disruptive. I left college. I left high school after 11th grade. Took one semester of college. Dropped out after I failed Algebra 1. And I'm self-taught all the rest of the way. I've worked for the music industry. I've worked for zoos. I've worked for the movie industry for 15 years, doing technology, networking. AI. And so a lot of technology, all self-taught, never graduated from anything. And I've been in the highest positions. I've worked for billionaires. I've done their networking and stuff. And they want people that can think outside of the box, not people that were trained inside of one. Because listen, if college was so kick-ass, there would be jobs for college graduates. But the thing is, college became something that everybody could do. So therefore, they needed to come up with more curriculums to sell, because that's what college is. You create a curriculum. You go to a college, say, hey, this is how you floss with butt hair. And then they can sell that curriculum. If students buy it and want to go to that class, you make money off of that, a commission. And you're the one that gets to write the textbook that they buy for $400 for that class. It can be theoretical. It doesn't matter. It's art. Doesn't matter. So a lot of things that people are learning today that they believe is true was just storytelling. That's why nobody can get any jobs right now. Oops, there goes your wig. Yeah, that's ruined. So this is your main job. Yeah, so when I left the movie industry January last year, I went around to all of my neighbors and I said, anything that you would pay someone else for, let me give you a quote. And I basically did the handyman thing. And then still, if they have any issues, I'll go. But yeah, I basically stream all day and make videos. I never went to college. Yeah, I went for a semester, failed Algebra 1. I failed Algebra 1 in college, and I left after one semester. Never had a problem getting a job. I always had my portfolio to show that I could do everything that was asked, and never had a high school diploma, never had a college degree, nothing, and never needed it. Never got held back. Made good money. Yeah. But that's it. The marketing and advertising that convinced people that if they go to college, they'll be millionaires. It was a complete lie. It was marketing. It wasn't truth. And you'll make $1 million more in your lifetime just by having a college degree is marketing. It's statistical witchcraft. Because so many people that are doctors and lawyers make so much more money. The rest of the people, the median or the fluctuates out to say that everyone else. No, they make a whole lot. You make nothing. Therefore, the average is a little bit of something. That's why there are book smart people and street. There are book smart, street dumb people. Right. Yeah. Right. It's book smart and street smart and smart dumb people. That's right. It's all the way around. Look at this progress curve. Look at the progress curve of this tech. It's going rapidly recursive exponentially. 1925 Turing test. 1996 extrapolate the future. I'm not saying it won't get better. I'm just saying it can't do what they're saying it can do. Listen, and also efficiency is a thing. If you want to replace a $18 an hour receptionist at your law firm, it would cost you $80,000 a year in power costs to AI that. So they say not because they say it can be done doesn't mean it's efficient. So it still isn't worth. And then now look, like things are falling back. Like now Amazon is hiring back senior coders to fix everything that AI broke. Yeah, like those data center crashes and the DNS crashes. That was all from AI written code, and they had to have humans go back and do it. So it doesn't matter. Even if it can do it, eventually the research and development dollars are going to run out. It's too expensive. It takes up too much power, too much water, and it's not as kick-ass. It breaks a lot. And listen, Every 3 years, they got to replace every server and everything in those AI data centers every 3 years. So just because they have the initial startup marketing or a startup budget to set everything up doesn't mean it's going to keep making enough money to replace everything every 3 years. So there's going to be prohibitively, you're only looking at one thing. You're not looking at the economy of it. You're just looking at the power of the technology. I think, to be honest, I'm kind of washed up. Hippie spent too much time in the cannabis industry, and now I'll have no money anymore. Yeah, brother, because the cannabis industry was a big advertisement for the cartels. Once they legalized it, so many kids that wouldn't have smoked now say, "Oh, it's okay. It's just like a liquor store." But then you go into the dispensaries and shit's more expensive. So somebody's just like, "Hey, my buddy down the street's got it for $25 an eighth." You know, and then so now the cartels are making a shit ton more money. I'm on break. Can you please play the recent clip of Shot of the Boot? No. Look at the data centers, right? Yep. Ooga booga. I wouldn't be fighting in that ring if he turned 90 degrees. I don't think so. There's nothing that can't be achieved. Yeah, there's some things that can't be achieved. I mean, just because we can't think of them doesn't mean that there's some things that can't. Like you can't breathe in outer space without a spacesuit. That can't be achieved. What up, ND? Did you know Shia LaBeouf joined a street gang called Harpies and said he was running with the Mexicans if he jailed? Jeez, dude. All right, what space cow have? Something wackadoodle here. Where'd it go? Where'd space cows go? Dude, this is freaking.
Yeah, I just right over here, bro.
Whoa, I'm not going in there, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, dude. Freaking wackadoodle. How are you, man? I'm doing freaking good. Everything's going really good. Really good. So I got to be a member to tip you. Hey, there you go. No, you shouldn't have to be. I would appreciate it if you did. Or if you want to. You don't have to be a member. I was going to throw you a few bucks for being like a musician. Yeah, I'd appreciate it. No, so if you can either buy me a coffee or a super chat. You should just be able to hit the $sign if you want. But no, you don't have to be a member. If you hit the here, I'll show you right here. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. So like right here at the bottom, there's that little $sign. Show your support, and when you click on it, just click on super chat. You don't have to click membership. I thank you, Bobby. Thank you. We can make things better. Look at Horse and Garrett's electric cars. Membership. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, Bobby. Yeah, do you remember that in the good old days, dude? The street musicians, you throw a couple bucks in their hat. Yeah, dude. Yeah, the good old days. The good old days. If that don't work, I got a PayPal if you want it. 110th grade at gmail.com. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. I appreciate it. Here, I'll put that in the chat if you want to. PayPal is. There you go. There it is. Just play anything shot of the both lately. It's very concerning. Doesn't make sense because he's crazy. I want a lighter, better lights, a candle better. All right, let's see. Let's see what Shia LaBeouf's got. Freaking Shia LaBeouf. If it's on the okay, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf. A lighter that burns twice as bright as all nighter. How much you interested in money? I mean, I like it, but it's not all consuming. Like I could definitely have sold out to the Democrats or the Republicans to make a bunch of money, and I definitely didn't because I don't give a shit. Everything's going on. I want to build my brand slowly and solidly. And I want to be of service. I want to help people and then help myself in that way. I believe that we can make a different way to educate the kids these days rather than what's going on now. Hey, there you go, Bobby. Thank you, brother. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Bobby. All right, let me see here. I appreciate it, my brother. All right, let's see. What did I break? Shout out to the booth.
I'll be honest with you, big gay people are scary to me. When I'm like standing by myself and 3 gay dudes are next to me touching my leg, I get scared.
What's the difference between a big letter and a small letter?
I'm sorry.
One's a little letter. Thank
If
you,
that's
brother. Keep
homophobic,
people engaged, man.
then
Thank you
I'm
very much.
that.
YouTube,
Yeah.
yep. I agree.
Does that happen a lot?
I agree.
No, it just happened one time.
Recently.
Well, that's why got arrested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were sort of being groped and surrounded.
I'm not gonna say that because my lawyer said, "Oh, dude,
It's okay. We can
no."
back up.
Dude, I
am
think this
wrong
is all fake,
for
dude.
touching anyone.
I think this is
ever.
all fake. I don't
And
think
that's
it's
the end
real.
of my
I agree about it. Sometimes real. Yes,
statement
thank you
on
very
this
much,
kind
my
of
brother.
shit.
No worries, man. Not much
Sounds
for
good.
Portia.
Cool.
Portia, how you
Moving
doing?
back to, like,
I
what kind of
appreciate it, man.
things
I appreciate
would
it.
set off that
Yeah, I
Napoleon
appreciate it
complex.
very much.
Being challenged, my
Thank you very
masculinity being
much, my brother.
challenged, somebody touch my girl, or touch my kid, or I'm good with gay. Be gay over there though. Don't be gay in my lap.
So you feel like when things that you
Is
feel
this
that
what you wanted
possess
to
in a
see,
way
Georgie?
Or
What
challenge
do
like
you
your
think is
girl,
fake?
your kid. If someone,
So I've worked in the movie industry for 15 years. A lot of this stuff they do to make people relevant again. A lot of the divorces and the abuse claims that you hear from women to men or men to women, people that aren't relevant anymore, when there's no police involved or anything like that, it just goes on the internet. It's just to make them, because they haven't done anything big in a while and they want a lot of people talking about them. It's a lot of an ego thing. Or if Shia LaBeouf's about to put out another movie or something, there's like, now that the cancel culture's over, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Like listen, if he wanted to say, "Oh man, I shouldn't have said that," they would have cut it. Absolutely, it wouldn't have went out on the finished product. Like it's like, and looking how he said, "Oh man, my lawyer says," but it's so mild, and it's just enough triggering for some people and whatnot that it's like it was written. It's like it was written. Be gay over there, right. Listen, you couldn't say that 5 years ago, and he knows that, and now you can say it because cancel culture's canceled. So it's like it's too fake. I don't know. This was. I don't know who this guy
it
is.
gets in the way of what they want to do.
Yeah,
That's Shia LaBeouf. He was in the first I think he was in all the Transformers. I had gay acquaintances. They always end up hitting on you no matter what. He was even Steven on HBO, not HBO. I'm not HBO. Nickelodeon, Disney, Nickelodeon.
There's personal space type stuff, which gets weird at it's Mardi Gras. That's why, bro.
See,
I'm
like
drunk
all
and
this
it's Mardi
stuff,
Gras. So
like
all
everything, it's so randomly pieced together. Like he's just saying stuff. Like we didn't need to know anything about Mardi Gras. That didn't matter. Yeah.
I'm saying is nonsense.
Nickelodeon. Was it
Mardi
Nickelodeon?
Gras.
It was Disney.
But it sounds like this complex is maybe.
That's it. Even Steven. Not Steven. Even Stevens. Oops. Yeah, Disney. Yep, Disney. Yeah, shout out to the booth. Yeah, all right, back to the comment. Like freaking Georgie, watch this wackadoo stuff. But that's the big problem. Listen, anything that's curated or constructed to go out, they have publicists, they have clearance people, they have companies that make sure that stuff is said. That stuff wouldn't have went out on the air if he wanted to say. If he would have said, "My lawyer said I can't say this," it wouldn't have went out there. He knew it would start controversy. You don't just look after the whole like gay pride, gay love, gay thing that happened for the past 10 years, and then now that ends for the most part. Like all the companies aren't changing their colors and stuff like that. This is something to light a fire. To like, he's like, it's you when people like this go on news shows and stuff. they go on. If he got arrested, he would just write a statement. His PR person would write a statement to say, this is what happened about my arrest. He wouldn't go on to things like this and say stuff like this. This is absolutely to get his name going. Just do it. We're always bouncing from extreme generation to generation. It's the pendulum, brother. It's the pendulum. It swings one side, people have the power, and then the other side it swings again. And then these people have the power. Then and then it swings generation. He said, "You go over there. We don't have a problem." Your generation and mine is homophobic as fuck. Generation Z was like, everybody's bi now. All right. What happened? And then the transition thing. You got a lot of people that are like everybody's trans, and then now it's like you have a bunch of detransitioners, and they're like, so like how many people that were accidentally trans got injured in this. And this is the problem, is the injuries. People don't care about the injuries. They consider it war, and war is okay. It's okay to have some casualties, offsides casualties, if you want to. And that's what it is. It was okay. Well, we were trying to fight for our rights. Therefore, it's okay that some people got hurt. That happens in war, and that's crazy. It's crazy. Adam, probably gonna give me something copyrighted.
Do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it.
On a green screen. So they absolutely know that this was going to be used. They gave it to everybody on a green screen so it could be reused, so it could go viral. I mean, think about what Kanye West does. He does it with another group. So he's doing it with gays. Kanye did it with Jews, right? And it's just like, they just pick one. Some people do it with whites. Some people do it with blacks. It's profitable. You want to open up a can of worms? Just be honest. I'm fine. I'm kind of in the middle of the road politically, and all my friends get fucking about it when I start talking about kids and hormones. Right, dude. I'm right. Listen, I'm right there with you. It's the same. It's the same. The thing is, when you want to get political power, you want this. Look, this is why the LGBT community started adding so many letters. They started getting political power, so they wanted to raise their numbers. And that's not gay or bi people. That's a community, a political movement. Because there's gay people on the conservative side too. So it's not like just because you're gay, you're part of the community. But if you're trying to get political power, it's going to say this is our community of gay, trans, bi, lesbian, straight, or lesbian, two-spirited, blah blah blah. And then you could say, Google, how many gay people are in America? Blam. And you just say, this is how many gay, this is how strong our movement is, even though it's not, because a lot of them aren't part of that community at all. They're just, so it was a brilliant way to step up, to take power and to get your products sold. I'm tired, my boss, that could work for you. Way too many letters. Yeah, way too many letters. I agreed. Well, because LGB is who you're attracted to. Everything else isn't who you're attracted to. Let's talk about the Q. Like, why the fuck do you need to separate queer from everybody else? That was the asterisk. That was the asterisk, like in computer programming. That's the everything else. So you could be, if you're queer, you're an ally, right? You might be straight, but you're an ally, which means you're voting with them or you're spending with them. Yeah, it's like. It's the wild card. It allows everybody to fit in. So then you have a bunch of kids. They're like, well, okay, I'm too young to even know what I'm attracted to, so I guess I'm queer, right? No, you're just still growing. The funniest thing, it's a number of LGBT people in America. Once it was no longer illegal, it jumped rapidly to 10% and then stayed there. And they're raising the numbers. There's no raising the numbers. I mean, that's not. It depends what you look at, right? That depends what you look at. Percentage of gay people chart over the 10 years. Over 10 years. Okay, so it didn't plateau. It goes all over the place, and you can find anything to say whatever you want, and I don't care either way. Anything can go whatever. If you want to just argue about stuff, but yeah, it didn't plateau. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely. My main issue is allies. Nothing. Normal straight dudes are the enemy. Yeah. Right. Like cis. Right. Right. I don't give a shit, dude. Look, I was in the movie industry for 15 years. I don't give a. Look, my parents retired from the applied physics laboratory. My mom there was a trans woman that while transitioning would be invited over to our Christmas parties. It was no big deal, and this was freaking 25 years ago. Before this was it was never a big deal. But when you can get political power by putting it in front of everybody and say, look, these people weren't allowed to do whatever, and I'm like, yes, they were. Absolutely, they were in the highest points of our military, and like this was Navy contracts to build defense and our defense. So yeah, it was just bullshit. People just said stuff and people believed it. I'm not talking about legal marriage, dude. I'm talking about the once it was no longer illegal to be gay. I don't know about marriage. I'm just looking at a bunch of different stuff. Trend of LGBT, but generations of adults. I'm saying you can find whatever you want. People make charts, but I say, what's the percentage of gay people in America? According to Gallup, 9.3, a ubiquitous plus, 2% who identify as gay, lesbian, identify as bisexual. So only 2% identify as gay. So this is what I was talking about. Libiquita, they added numbers to get themselves to a 10% number. Only 2% identify as gay, not 10. All LGBTQ. So if you add lesbian, gay, bi, trans, everything, then you can get to those numbers. That's for political power, because now you can say we've got enough people in our community. I don't care. Imagine if that would happen if MAGA were just to admit they were gay rather than hiding on Grindr. Right. Well, that would be a huge change. I agree, Stephen. How gay is too gay? If you were on Pandora politically, but right, have sex with you, sex with kick ass, invite me over. I'm great. That's the fucking hilarious bullshit numbers. Probably just ask. Yeah. Yogi would probably ditto. And DL is the new thing. Yeah, listen, dude, I live in Atlanta. Atlanta is the DL capital of the world. Yeah. Anyway, that's the same.
Like her laughter makes the wind blow harder.
And he's a pigeon. I'm convinced modern American politics in general feed 100% entirely on low intelligence. I agree too. Down low. That means people that are either gay and say they're straight, or straight and say they're gay, or I'm sorry, either say they're straight and are actually gay, or bisexual or whatever. They're not doing what they're saying. So whatever they say they are, they're not. Their proclivities are not that way. So if you say you're straight but you like to fiddle around with men, if you're a man, then that would be considered down low. If you say you're gay and you do everything you do is straight, then you can call yourself queer or bisexual, but it's still considered down low. It's what you tell your community and how you actually, or what you're actually attracted to. I think it's kind of funny. Basically, it's basically down low. I mean, down low, but basically straight dudes are actually bi, want to call themselves down low. So they can hook up with dudes, right? Hey, depends how much alcohol we got in our system. I've lost faith in these people, man. And listen, a lot of people, when they start to get any bit of power, even online, you have people that are assholes that just want to fight. They just want to destroy and burn. They don't want to be like, all right, cool, have sex, have a good time, get a nut off, but then let's get back to work, right? Like, I don't give a shit what you're doing in the bathroom. It's like, but we've made it so political. The Republicans went nuts with it, and then the Democrats went nuts with it. Now the Democrats and Republicans and now you have Democrats on the Republican side, Republicans on the Democrat side. It just completely screwed everything up because people started worrying more about how you're having sex than what's going on than what's going on with our freaking politicians, old as hell, stealing everything from us. Alcohol, yeah, I think it definitely brings a lot of the strangers to the ground. Yes, right, exactly. It's not this difficult, but they want to overcomplicate it. They overcomplicate it and then sell you college courses on how to figure it out. They confuse you in high school, then sell you college courses on how to figure it out. That's exactly what's going on. Exactly. Uh-oh, I was going for a drink. Why would there not be a guardrail? We wouldn't really. Adam, you have to have a common enemy. That's how divide and conquer works. You need a common enemy. Can you please play a clip of that video land with me busting by? No, dude. Why is it? You used to like cute stuff. Now you want to see crazy ass destructive methods. Then again, they wouldn't be able to if everybody collectively ignored them. Yeah, and that's what's starting to happen. There's Republican fatigue, there's MAGA fatigue, there's Democrat and liberal fatigue. Everybody's just tired of it because nobody does what they say. It's all bullshit. Everybody just wants to get into political power so they can rob the treasury.
It seems like she was just looking for a reason to turn down this job.
Give me sorry. Sorry, brother. That's gotta be a pretty bird, girl. That's their wedding cake. She's crying because she knows she's gonna be divorced in a year. Jim Carrey, remember if made fun of me? Yeah, I remember. But yeah, you're right, bro. Sexuality is way too political in these days. Since quarters turn to politics, to be honest. But saying got Trump right here. Yeah. And it's almost like if you've been in the film in the storytelling industry, you know that the long game is to build something up and then be the hero. I mean, and you could even make a narrative saying that this was all planned and this is why Trump left the Democrat Party the day before he ran as a Republican. You know, it's like and the thing is, you don't know. He's been in the film industry, in the television industry, rich as hell guy. You can absolutely, and everybody else is so stupid. You know, I'm not saying Trump's a genius. I'm saying whoever's running that definitely could, because you got no idea. We're so emotional. We don't know what the truth is. If it's on the news, it's bullshit. Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, they only tell us what they want us to hear. The truth does not have to have anything to do with it. Remember, when the news started to become opinion pieces, they never told everybody that. They didn't tell kids what opinion pieces are. So they hear it on the news and they think, oh my goodness, that's true. No, that's what the person speaking believes to be true and doesn't require any evidence. They're called opinion pieces. Imagine bums in Alabama thinking trans rights are the most important issue, not getting ripped off their paychecks. Right.
A smile is neither created nor destroyed. It's only transferred from one person to another.
Right. Oh.
Another victim of flip-flops.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby. Baby, not much to bring up. Yeah, boy. Yeah. He's still in the hospital though. He's been stopping in, Adam.
If your order is late, don't get angry so quickly.
I don't know what that is yet, brother. Help brother out. What's China maxing? Somebody brought it into him.
Good thing the quality issue was caught early.
That's probably what's in them gummies. Probably what affected his pancreas. I bet you watch. It ain't just the alcohol. That's gonna be an expensive fix. Oh, okay.
A start to the morning that couldn't be worse.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna. Oh, dude, he ate that asphalt, dude. That only interesting person you did. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, man. Well, I'm here every single day, dude. Like 8 hours a day. Whatever I'm not. If I'm, well, sometimes more than that. But yeah, I'm here every day, brother. Not too much, Alex. How you doing, brother?
This is looking good. This is almost looking good.
At this rate, he'll have his own house soon.
Yeah, soon enough. Soon to wreck everything. That's creepy. That looks like an evil. What's it called? Who's? Oh, damn it. Honestly, simple pleasures are all we do. Simple pleasures are all we do. Don't homeless. Farm some of your own food. Don't look homeless. Farm some of your own food. Shop local. Right? Yeah. We're convinced. We've been convinced that we need huge corporations for existence. And you don't. Like I go to my dairy guy down the street. I go to the beef guy down the street, 2 miles from my house. The cow in my freezer was eating grass 2 miles. Grew up, was born there and died there. Yeah, no, you don't need it, and it's cheaper. It's more expensive if you'd buy it piece by piece. But if you can get $700 together, you can get a quarter of a cow, last you a year. Buy a BMW. I support my close personal friend Rich because he puts in the effort. Thank you, my brethren. I definitely do. I appreciate you saying that, my friend. Tell me, dog. So I 100% tell you they do, brother. I agree. Do you can play the worst reaction to smoke? No, dude. Listen, too many kids watch this, Georgie. I don't want them thinking about that stuff, dude. Maybe we can have an 18 and over stream, like maybe Saturday night or something like that. We'd have to do something like that, but not on an all ages stream. Yeah, I don't want kids thinking that's a good idea. Maybe we should set one up. Maybe we should do one a week. We should do an 18 and over.
At least his brake system is still working perfectly.
Bingo, bingo.
What up, monk, brother? Where did my hands go? Oh, how is it? No way. Look at this. How do you run right into it? What up, duo, brother? Ding dong, ding dong. It's more like, whoa, whoa. Let me see if I can turn this fan on. Now I'm gonna end up filming my own freaking.
Luckily, there was a camera recording. Otherwise, it would all be very difficult to explain.
You came out to your parents? Thank you. You ain't got to come out to us, duo. Listen, that should be people that's close to you, man.
That's a sign that she should.
Do you feel good about it? I don't know what to say to you about it, my friend. Congratulations. Dude, you're not. Listen, dude. Right there. You got to be aware. He's 14, so this might be an adult conversation that shouldn't be had.
The
with
kids
just
learned their
strangers on
lesson
the
from his
internet
first
duo,
real
brother.
experience.
I'm coming out. I like women. I just want to be treated the same as everyone else.
Phones are always the source of all the trouble.
That was probably a freaking... Yeah.
Hello.
Adam's always online. How come? Because he's a real one. Because none ya business.
The helmet has just passed the quality test with flying colors.
He's very supportive. I appreciate it. Oof.
With that address,
What a boy.
it's quite possible to find a hidden treasure.
Oops. Yeah. Yeah, he's in South Africa, Monk. Yeah. Yeah. You just try to call people out.
Another victim of the pen.
Oof.
Cat.
Kiss already. Kiss. Oh, yeah, dude. That's what I needed. I needed to turn that fan up one more notch. There you go. Yeah, boy. Now I got it. Is it true what they say about farmers? Yes, it is. Absolutely. We talked
Even
about
the
it a
sun
couple
came out
days
to
ago,
laugh.
Monk. Actually, it was yesterday. I thought you were here, Monk. We were talking about don't kill the farmers, and he was like, they kill the farmers. Yeah, we can do Minecraft at 8. What time is it now? 4:30. Yeah, we can do it. We can do 8 to 9.
Going out right now is definitely not a good sign.
Oh. No.
When a family has 4 siblings who get along.
Oh, too heavy.
Little fat little doggy.
Jack's too heavy.
Stop
Tucker's
feeding
like
it
my-
grain. Half of these people are tripping. What's the mistake? Not wearing boots. Brother, listen, you see that so often. A lot of these people, like you'll see a lot of them, they step outside when it's freezing cold and there's snow and you know that there's ice everywhere and they just walk like it's dry. I don't understand. I mean, I guess some people really have, a concentration issues.
A reminder to always keep an eye on those little ones.
My kid's running away. I'm getting out of here. Good thing your neighbors know your kid.
I'm not gonna turn it on. You know?
pull off one of them. I didn't know he got off the back. Yeah, farmers get attacked quite often. Woke up one morning, my front door wide open, glass shattered. People in my neighborhood farm got tied up. Wife got abused. Jesus Christ.
There will be a lot of people asking for the information about this crystal.
That's an iPhone store. See, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, now you're smacking your head on the concrete. Let me help. Holding a corner, the wrong corner. Now she's stuck under there. Yeah, but some people break like it, dude. Some people break like it. I can't imagine dealing with that, Adam. Stay strong. Yeah, dude, that's crazy shit, dude.
It seems that the umbrella also wants to join the challenge with it.
That's a lawsuit in America right there. That definitely is not America.
The cleaning work will probably be quite a difficult exercise for it, Temmie.
You can imagine it's hard to be kind and empathetic when life hits you like this. I don't appreciate my patient being yesterday. Right? Well, yeah, right. It's not. It ain't like.
Thank you all for watching.
You know, listen.
We hope these situations
that kind of shit's not
moments.
easy to deal with, dude. I can understand.
Don't
that.
forget to comment and follow us for more
safer
funny
part of
videos.
this country now. I'm back to normal. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. Let's see what's next. All right. Shia LaBeouf. Damn, dude. That Air Canada thing was nuts. I don't want to show the freaking... I don't want to stream the freaking people dying, so we're not going to... Oh no, please tell me this is true. Please tell me this is true. Oh, we'll see.
Hello, everyone. Brace yourself for a fresh batch of workplace disasters that'll leave you in stitches.
It started off showing a girl blow torching a big ass like paper wasp nest. They went and bar old school Afrikaners, people who are still proud Nazis, not Englishmen. The issue is the attackers. They don't know the difference. Right, that's because they just see white people and they have no idea what their beliefs are. You're just white, right? And your governments allow that, allow for the abuse of people. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping this is. Brother. But we can find some. Okay, let's look at that first. If you was a fruit, what fruit would you be? Me? I'd be a pizza probably. Okay, let's see. I'd be a pomegranate. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if we can find. Let's open another one here. Bam. Open a new tab. Oh man, largest explosions ever recorded. Damn. Biggest non-nuclear explosions ever recorded. Cows. 15 billions in damages. All right, let's do it.
Please get these children out of here. That ship is gonna blow. No!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 of the biggest explosions ever recorded.
That's animated.
Nobody who was close enough to see it survived.
For this list, we'll be
Nobody
looking at
close enough to see it survived. Cucumber, slender and cool. There's not vitamin B12. Okay, I would have fried watermelon.
largest explosions throughout human history, measured in terms of magnitude and yield. For the sake of variety, we will be excluding atomic bombs for the most part, but not entirely. What do you make of these history-making events? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. The Evangelos Florakis Naval Base Explosion. In the early morning hours of July 11, 2011, an explosion ripped through the Evangelos Florakis Naval Base, which was situated on the island of Cyprus. The base had improperly stored a large number of dangerous military materials, including gunpowder and artillery shells. Various containers exploded and started a small fire, which in turn resulted in the larger explosion. With the equivalent of 481 tons of TNT, the explosion ripped through the base, killed 13, injured 62, and decimated the nearby Basilikos power station. Half of Cyprus was left without power, and the explosion could be heard upwards of 30 miles away. It also cost upwards of $3 billion in damage, which further devastated the island's already crippled economy. Number 9. The N-1 launch explosion. The N-1 was a Soviet rocket that was hastily constructed in the midst of the space race. The rocket went through 4 launches, and each resulted in failure. The problems were numerous, including underfunding and rushed construction. The second launch occurred on July 3, 1969, and resulted in an unmitigated disaster. Shortly after takeoff, the rocket tilted 45 degrees and plunged back down to Earth. The propellant on board instigated a massive explosion that sent debris rocketing up to 6 miles away and shattering windows across the complex. With the force of 650 tons of TNT, the launch complex was turned into a fiery crater. Luckily, the rocket was unmanned and no serious injuries were reported. Number 8. The SS Grand Camp explosion.
I was on a chess live stream on my comments. I was like, white means black and they got black.
An industrial port town, Texas City once housed a vessel called the SS Grand Camp that inadvertently launched an incredible explosion. A fire started inside the SS Grand Camp on the morning of April 16, 1947, and ignited the ship's stores of ammonium nitrate. The ship exploded with
All right, let's find the actual footage. Footage. Let's make sure this
From an exploding rocket fuel depot in Nevada that left a crater outside of Las Vegas, and a port blast in Beirut that nearly destroyed the entire city, to an underwater mountain in Vancouver that was blown sky high, and a 7,000-ton surplus of World War II munitions that almost sank a tiny island. Here are the largest non-nuclear explosions caught on camera. We love watching things go boom.
Sometimes fat gets blocked. They haven't removed all the body positivity filters yet.
Unfortunately, some of the largest non-nuclear blasts were too big or too spontaneous for anyone to film. For the sake of this video, we're focusing only on those with available footage.
There you go.
First up is a rocket fuel plant outside of Las Vegas that gambled on the future of space travel and lost. The Pacific Engineering and Production Company of Nevada, or PEPCON, began operations in 1958, roughly 16 miles southeast of Las Vegas in the city of Henderson. They specialized in ammonium perchlorate, a highly reactive oxidizer used in NASA's space shuttle program. In other words, they were making rocket fuel. After the Challenger disaster in 1986, the US government grounded the space program, forcing PEPCON to stockpile about 4,500 metric tons of extra fuel.
So
they were basically sitting on a small...
So they were anticipating on all that. They were anticipating on supplying NASA with that for years to come, so they made a whole shit ton of it, and then that the Challenger happened, and they said nope. They were like, well, what are we gonna do with all this stuff?
Nuclear bomb that was waiting to blow in the hot Nevada desert. May 4th of 1988 began as a normal day at the PEPCON plant. According to the Clark County Fire Department, sparks from a welder's torch ignited a nearby barrel of ammonium perchlorate around 11:30 that morning. Unfortunately, there were no fire suppression systems in place where these extra barrels were being stored, as the Pepcon facility wasn't large enough to safely house over 6 million pounds of rocket fuel. Workers battled the blaze with hoses, but that was like fighting a volcano with a squirt gun. Everyone evacuated except Roy Westerfield, the Pepcon plant controller who stayed behind to call 911. Sadly, that decision meant that he'd likely go down with the ship.
Cell phones
Meanwhile, a cameraman perched atop the nearby Black Mountain saw the fire and began recording. This is what happens when 1,000 barrels of rocket fuel detonate at once.
That whole... Oh!
Ooh, that's gonna be loud.
Boy, that destroyed everything. That did the marshmallow effect.
Damn. White Knight, 4 back 167, White Knight encounters what?
If you thought that was big, wait until you see the main blast.
Wow, those son of a bitches are loud.
Stayed around to call 911. What are you?
If you didn't know any better, you might have.
This is just this is the largest non-nuclear explosions in history. This was July 25th of last year. It was before it. The delay was insane. Yeah, it was a huge explosion, and it was far away.
Thought a nuke had gone off outside of Las Vegas. There were 7 blasts altogether, with the largest having a yield of 0.25 kilotons of TNT. According to local historian Mark Patton, you likely know him as the guy from Pawn Stars, the Pepcon disaster was the largest civilian explosion in U.S. history. The blast injured over 400 people and claimed 2 lives. That of controller Roy Westerfield and plant manager Bruce Halker, who had just gotten into his car when the first blast occurred.
Shockwave probably ruptured his lungs.
August 12th of 2015, Tianjin, China. Nobody knows it, but the Ruihai International Logistics Company is sitting on over 1,000 tons of illegally stored chemicals. Their warehouses are situated near the port of Tianjin, one of the world's busiest trade hubs, with an annual throughput of 480 million tons. In 2011, Ruihai was established to ship hazardous chemicals more quickly and efficiently than its state-run rivals. But money got in the way of safety when upper management began bribing officials to allow the company to sidestep regulations. What could possibly go wrong? On the night of the 12th, firefighters responded to a fire in the Ruihai warehouse yard, unaware of the deadly chemicals being stored on site. And since most corrupt business owners don't keep detailed records of their illegal dealings, the firefighters didn't know what they were fighting until it was too late. That blast was followed by another about 33 seconds later.
Jesus Chrysler, dude. Better cover your ears.
The blasts combined to blow the doors and windows off of 17,000 homes and buildings in the area. They claimed the lives of over 100 firefighters and 70 civilians. The second blast you saw was the largest to occur that night. It registered as a 2.9 magnitude earthquake.
Look at all of
with a
those
blast
things.
yield equivalent to nearly.
For you guys to see the destruction of all of these containers that were absolutely, the air was sucked out of them. When an explosion happens, all the localized air is used by the explosion, and so it sucks it out of everything. So it just vacuumed all these things shut. It vacuumed all these things down. That's crazy. Organ rattling, yes, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, these are crazy. Yeah, that's definitely terrifying. Definitely. Offer me power, I don't care. Offer me money, I don't care. Offer me bigot, I'll say tack you.
22 tons of TNT. In the aftermath, Ruihai Logistics chairman Yu Shuiwei was fined over $100,000 and jailed alongside 48 other staff members and government officials. The Tianjin explosion caused roughly $1 billion in economic losses and ranks among the deadliest industrial disasters in Chinese history.
Yep. The size of a truck. They're probably average
On
of 40
August 4th
foot.
of 2020, a fire at the port of
Might be
Beirut
56,
triggered one
right?
of the largest non-nuclear explosions in human history.
Standardized sizes of shipping containers. 40, 20, 10. 40, 20, and 10. So those were all basically 40 footers. Maybe it's the truck. Well, maybe it's the length of the width the truck is 56 feet. Is that right, Mel? Or do they have? No, they have ones where they have like bolts, like they add on to the front, right? Like 8 feet on the front and 8 feet on the back to make it 56. I can't remember. 40 feet long, 8 foot wide, 8.5 feet high. High cubes are 9.5 feet tall for extra volume. Jesus Chrysler.
Nearly 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate detonated in Warehouse 12, creating a shockwave so powerful that it registered as a 3.3 magnitude earthquake. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody was prepared, and nobody knew the disaster that had been 7 years in the making. Let's rewind to September 27th of 2013, when a Moldovan-flagged cargo ship, the MV Rosas, set sail from Batumi, Georgia, en route to Mozambique. The Rosas was carrying 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate, a key ingredient in explosive mixtures used in mining, quarrying, and construction. After spending 4 weeks in Athens, the Rosas continued its journey through the Mediterranean until a technical issue forced it to dock in Beirut, Lebanon. Port officials inspected the ship and deemed it forbidden from sailing. The ship's Russian owner, Igor Grachushkin, couldn't afford the port fees and simply stopped paying. Beirut impounded the Rosas and unloaded the explosive cargo.
Dude.
The ammonium nitrate was stored in Warehouse 12, where it would await auction or proper disposal. Now, over the next 6 years, several letters from Lebanese customs officials regarding the dangers of storing explosive chemicals were largely ignored. At one point, someone had the bright idea to store fireworks in the same warehouse as the ammonium nitrate. Around 5:55 p.m., a fire broke out in Warehouse 12. 9 firefighters and a paramedic were deployed, but failed to control the blaze. An initial explosion of fireworks at 6:07 sent a plume of smoke into the sky above Beirut. Then, 30 seconds later, nearly 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate detonated, blowing the port of Beirut to smithereens. The blast wave collapsed several buildings in the Lebanese capital. It wounded over 6,000 people and claimed the lives of 218. Jesus. Ammonium nitrate isn't as powerful as TNT on a per-mass basis. In fact, it's about 50% weaker. That's why several studies have estimated the Beirut blast yield to be between 0.5 and 1.1 kilotons of TNT. which was big enough to leave behind a 140-meter-wide crater. As of 2025, the Beirut blast leaves us with more questions than answers. Nobody has ever been arrested or held accountable. A judge is expected to hand down indictments on the 5th anniversary of the disaster, but few people have any faith that justice will ever be served. The Seymour Narrows is a 3-mile waterway between Vancouver and the Discovery Islands of British Columbia. Few people know it, but this short stretch of water used to keep Canadian sailors
fire
up.
extinguisher called ozone, only used in aviation, but not seen for years. There's halon, which I think is what you're talking about. Hold on, let me check. Halon fire extinguishers. Halon, H-A-L-O-N. Halon. Highly effective cleaning agent effector. Used in aircraft being phased out due to ozone depletion. Is that what you're talking about? This is probably what you're talking about. The ones that are because it's like it eats oxygen. Like that's what it does, is they flood it in like electrical areas and whatnot like that. So it eats the oxygen. So it's not like spraying water and destroying the computers, what you want to save. It'll kill the humans because it'll take the oxygen out of them. Kilotons, that's thousands of tons. Yeah, halon. Yeah. I got some knowledge.
At night. Think of it like the Canadian version of Davy Jones's Locker. This was thanks to Ripple Rock, a massive underwater mountain with 2 prominent peaks that sat only feet below the surface during low tide. The peaks sank or damaged 20 large vessels and at least 100 smaller ships over the years. They stood like 2 massive canine teeth that tore apart the hulls of passing boats without discretion. And if the peaks didn't get you, the whirlpools and massive waves did. Legend has it that 114 sailors fell victim to Ripple Rock over the years. In 1955, work began on a radical project to end Ripple Rock's reign of terror. Over the next 3 years, workers dug a 570-foot vertical shaft into Maud Island.
So 1.3 kilotons.
They burrowed about 2,500 feet under the Seymour Narrows to the base of Ripple Rock. They dug 2 branching tunnels that extended about 300 feet vertically into the mountain.
That's explosive.
Finally, a series of coyote tunnels were dug, in which 1,400 tons of high explosives were packed. Everything was primed and ready on April 5th of 1958. The menace of Seymour Narrows was about to meet its maker. The detonation of Ripple Rock was the world's largest non-nuclear blast.
Wait till you see this. Unfortunate coincidence that organic matter needs oxygen to survive, and it's also what feeds fire. Right. I'm the Richard. Richard is the Richard of Richard. I'm the one and only.
At the time, it displaced approximately 635,000 metric tons of rock and water, sending debris flying over 300 meters in every direction. The blast increased the low tide clearing over Ripple Rock to about 14 meters, or roughly 45 feet at its shallowest point. Since the blast, there has never been another accident in the Seymour Narrows attributed to the peaks of Ripple Rock. While navigation is still tricky at times, boat captains can sleep easy knowing those legendary teeth won't be biting into their hull.
So you see, who owns that? Who owns those narrows that boats are passing through? And it was worth it to them to dig a tunnel, all the deep ass tunnels through all that rock, dig up inside, and set all that stuff up, and that had to have been very expensive. But they make more money in shipping and just passage fees than obviously it's profitable.
July 17th of 1944. The United States is deep in the throes.
Left. You're not bigot hunter. You forgot to change accounts. You forgot to change accounts, moron. What up, the man, brother?
Of World War II. At the Port Chicago Naval Magazine in Contra Costa, California, segregated groups of African-American men worked around the clock loading munitions onto ships for transport across the Pacific Ocean. They were told the weapons were not active and would only be armed upon their arrival in the Pacific Theater. that was a lie. According to the National Park Service, the white officers in charge would place bets on which black crews could load munitions the fastest. Safety regulations were largely ignored, and arduous hours left the men tired and weak. On the evening of July 17th of 1944, two cargo ships, the SS Quinault Victory and SS E.A. Bryan, docked at the loading pier. The latter was packed to the brim with over 4,600 tons of anti-aircraft munitions, aerial bombs, and other high explosives.
That's 4.6
Meanwhile,
kilotons.
over 400 tons of munitions were sitting in nearby rail cars waiting to be loaded. At 10:18 p.m., a dull clang was followed by the sound of splintering wood. It's believed that a cargo boom had fallen, dropping one of the live munitions. A bright flash lit up the night sky, followed by an ear-splitting sonic boom. Then, seconds later, over 5,000 tons of munitions exploded at once. Anything within a 1,000-foot radius was obliterated. Roughly 320 people, including 202 black dock workers, died instantly. The blast itself was equal to 5,000 tons of TNT and registered as a 3.4 magnitude earthquake on the Richter scale. All told, it was the worst accidental disaster on the American home front during World War II. A month after the blast, surviving African American workers refused to keep loading the deadly munitions. Of them, 50 were accused and convicted of mutiny, and each received a 15-year jail sentence. They were granted clemency after the war ended in 1946, but only one man was ever pardoned for his crimes by President Clinton in 1999. The Port Chicago disaster and trial were crucial turning points for civil rights in the U.S. military. In June of 1945, the Navy began desegregating its units, and on July 26th of 1948, President Truman signed Executive Order 9981, which officially desegregated the U.S. Armed Forces.
All right, we'll do that next.
Located
Brother
30
Mason
miles
Beans.
off the northwestern
What up,
coast
Robert,
of
my
Germany,
brethren?
Heligoland Island has been a highly contested area since medieval times.
Note to self,
Danish
don't let your
kings
Portugal
and
go
German
back-
dukes fought to control the island.
No, do not. That's right. No. There's plenty of open space in America. America is mostly empty, regardless of what politicians tell you that we're overpopulated. It's bullshit. We're mostly empty space. There's plenty of vast openness that they could do. I see my house. There you go. It's right there. That would be funny if you could actually see your house. Are you right around the Central Park?
Despite it being smaller than New York's Central Park. However, it was the English who occupied the island until 1890, when they traded it to Germany in exchange for Zanzibar, an island located in the Indian Ocean. During World War II, Heligoland posed a significant threat to the Allied forces after Germany fortified the island to support its naval fleet. These included underground tunnels, a military airfield, coastal artillery, and heavily fortified storage facilities for Nazi submarines. In 1945, the Allies gained control of Heligoland after several relentless bombing runs by the RAF. Britain occupied the deserted rock and used the underground tunnels to store dangerous amounts of leftover munitions. In 1947, the English decided that they were tired of looking at the old Nazi naval base. They launched Operation Big Bang, which saw roughly 7,000 tons of surplus munitions loaded into the buildings and tunnels of Heligoland. While stationed on a ship about 9 miles away, English officers wondered if the blast would be powerful enough to sink the entire island. There, of course, was only one way to find out.
Alphabet City, and you survived. That was 2000. That was 2000.
Graves of London pushes the button.
I left. I made it back to Baltimore September 9th.
According to National Geographic, the blast was equivalent to 3.2 kilotons of TNT. When the smoke cleared, the only building left standing was a German anti-aircraft tower. All of the underground tunnels and other military buildings were reduced to rubble and dust. In 1952, the British returned control of Heligoland to Germany. people were allowed to repopulate and rebuild, and as of 2025, the island has become a popular vacation spot, enjoying tax-exempt status as part of Germany and the EU.
Yeah.
Between 1945 and the Test Ban Treaty of 1996, over 2,000 nuclear bomb tests were carried out around the world. Most of them came between the 1950s and early 1960s. Then, in 1963, a partial test ban treaty barred nuclear testing in the atmosphere, underwater, or in space. As a workaround, the U.S. Department of Defense began running high-explosive tests with TNT meant to simulate the effects of a small nuclear weapon. In 1981, the U.S. launched Operation Misty Castle, a series of large-scale high-explosive tests scheduled to take place over the next decade. The third event in the series, Operation Minor Scale, was the largest nuclear simulation test ever conducted. The plan was simple. Rig about 4,800 tons of high explosives and see how big a boom it makes. Construction crews worked tirelessly building a dome-shaped structure to house the explosive stockpile, along with dummy buildings to test the damage. The explosive compound in question was ANFO, or ammonium nitrate fuel oil. Back then, 500 tons of pure TNT cost about $1 million. ANFO was significantly cheaper and thus more reasonable to use during experiments. All that ANFO was loaded into the dome and rigged to blow on June 27th of 1985. Let's just say they were pleased with the results. The minor scale blast produced an explosive yield of 4.2 kilotons of TNT, making it the largest planned conventional explosion since Operation Big Bang on Heligoland Island. A few years later, Operation Misty Picture produced a similar but smaller result when close to 4,700 tons of ANFO were detonated in the same area. The Misty Castle program lasted until 1993, having detonated about 17,500 tons of high explosives at the White Sands Missile.
We've got all this money. We need what do you guys want to do? Let's go out to the desert
range in New Mexico.
All this fuel oil stuff that we could convert into for civilian use. Let's just set it off.
It was early 1969. The space race between the United States and the Soviet Union was entering its final lap. American astronauts had just...
It's the government equivalent of throwing big rocks in the water, B. This is the military equivalent of mixing every at the Burger King.
Returned from a groundbreaking flight around the moon and were preparing for 2 more practice missions before the final lunar landing. Meanwhile, the Soviets were making a desperate effort to catch up. They had been developing the N-1 rocket in secret as a counterpunch to the American Saturn V. It was so large that it required 165 railway cars just to deliver the parts to the launch site in 1967. Just as they were getting ready to blast off, engineers found several cracks in the load-bearing ring of the first stage. Repairs would delay the test voyage for another year. It wasn't until February 21st of 1969 that the Soviet N-1 rocket finally got off the ground. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. The engines began malfunctioning shortly after liftoff. Several fires quickly spread, and within 60 seconds, the rocket crashed to the ground. It landed about 32 miles from the launch pad and allegedly claimed the lives of 91 people on the ground. According to CNN, the accident wasn't made public until 1995.
Who would have thought
the second failed attempt on July 3rd of the same year came to define the N-1 rocket's legacy. Several of the thrusters shut down only a few seconds into the flight. The N-1 made it just over 300 feet into the air before it began breaking apart. It crashed back down to Earth with about 2,300 tons of propellant on board. The explosion triggered a massive shock wave that shattered windows near the launch complex and sent debris flying as far as 6 miles from the epicenter. What's even crazier is that the blast could have been exponentially worse. A follow-up investigation found that 85% of the N1's onboard propellant had not detonated during the accident. The resulting blast yield is highly debated. Some believe it was only 1 kiloton of TNT, while others claim it was as high as 7, making it about half as strong as the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima, Japan during World War II. Imagine how big it would have been if even 50% of the fuel had exploded.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. If they said they're absolutely, like, everybody that was there, that was just numbers, if you know what I'm saying. Their bodies didn't count.
Full-scale failure would have likely wiped the launch area off the face of the Earth.
General Mills.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.
General Mills, known for Corporation Assisted Hydrogen Bomb. Electronics Division built a DSV. Let's see if we can find anything on it. It was missing for 62 years.
Hey, 42 here. Of all the peculiar places we've perused on this channel, this is quite possibly the least impressive. At least on the surface. I mean, it's a field.
Miles away,
but believe me, this is no ordinary patch of farmland.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my friend.
Take that odd little copse of trees, for example. Isn't it strange that the farmer never bothered to clear it? You'd think it would make working the field easier and increase planting.
I do, but it's random. It's not random to me. Like every month I get 10 to give away, and you just hit give away, and it chooses from the who's subscribed. I have no say how it goes, but I do wait as soon as they're available. I make it happen. Let's see. Yeah, it says you've already given away. You sent all 10 free memberships today. But yeah, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend.
Yeah. But it turns out the farmer never touches that particular bit of land. In fact, he doesn't even own it. This specific circle of conspicuous conifers in the center of a North Carolina field was quietly bought by the United States Army in 1961. Which begs the question, why did the most powerful military on Earth buy a random patch of turf? Well, it wasn't the land itself the Army was interested in.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's done good.
What lay beneath. You see, this seemingly nondescript field in North Carolina hides a terrible secret. A secret that just over 60 years ago almost murdered tens of thousands of innocent Americans as they slept.
Ships crossing Atlantic, right?
This is the story.
Let me check that real quick. I remember I watched one of his things, and he has a lot of copyrighted stuff in here. I know I'm going to get in trouble for watching it.
Of the Goldsboro incident.
Let's get to the point.
The scariest close shave based on proven behavioral psychology technique.
This is an ad.
23rd of January 1961, 3 days after JFK was sworn in as president, a B-52 Stratofortress strategic bomber was docking with a refueling plane somewhere over Goldsboro, North Carolina. Mid-air refueling is a dangerous business, but these pilots were pros, so there was no problem. Until there was a problem. The crew on the refueling tanker noticed that the B-52 was leaking fuel from one of its wings. The operation was aborted immediately, and the bomber's pilot was advised to land at a nearby airbase post-haste. The trouble was, the B-52 was too heavy to land safely. It's a little-known fact outside of aviation circles, that most planes take off significantly heavier than they're safely rated to land, thanks to the extra weight of a full tank of fuel. The B-52 was no exception. It's a colossal craft, capable of holding up to 150,000 kilograms of jet fuel. That's about 22 hefty African bull elephants, which is the Civil Aviation Authority's official yardstick for jet fuel. I promise. Anyway, the plane was still laden with fuel, so the pilot flew a holding pattern to burn some off before landing. But as the seconds slipped away, so did the oil. Every minute, thousands of litres fell into the soil. What initially appeared to be a minor operational issue was now a full-scale emergency. The pilot tried to land fervently, but the plane was damaged irreversibly. It was going down, and there was nothing anybody could do to stop it. Losing any aircraft is a big deal, but losing this particular B-52 was a potential global catastrophe, because bundled within the belly of the bomber were two 3.8 megaton hydrogen bombs, each containing 200
that's millions of
times
tons,
the explosive
Adam,
force
not
of Thelma,
thousands of them.
the nuclear bomb that obliterated Nagasaki. Now, before I get on to what happened next, you might be wondering just what the hell the US Air Force was doing flying hydrogen bombs over home soil. Good question, and I can answer it with just 2 words. Chrome dome. Yes, that's a playfully offensive term for a bald man, but it was also the very silly name for a deadly Black Ops mission run throughout the 1960s by the US Air Force. Chrome Dome was what you might call a doomsday program, created with one simple aim in mind: to intimidate the Soviet state. Remember, this was the middle of the Cold War when nuclear tensions were at an all-time high. World peace relied on a highly sophisticated strategy, inspired by school playgrounds. If you blow me up, I'll blow you up big time. Sounds good on paper, I think, but in practice the whole mutually assured destruction thing had a pretty serious flaw. Namely that if it ever came to nuclear war, whoever landed the first blow would have one hell of a first mover advantage. Suppose the Soviets were able to destroy or disrupt a significant portion of the United States command infrastructure in a single strike. It could render a retaliatory attack impossible. Hence, destruction was neither mutual nor assured. And that's where Chrome Dome came in. This operation ensured multiple B-52 bombers armed with thermonuclear weapons were in the sky at all times. That way, even if the Soviets bombed North America back to a radioactive Stone Age, the president could still rain fiery death on Russia far from home, all thanks to Chrome Dome. Sure, it was a solid plan, but allow me to paint a precarious epigram. Weapons that could murder millions were being flown over the heads of unwitting civilians. And that happened 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 8 straight years in the 1960s.
Why are we in
Sure, flying is one of the safest ways to travel, but put enough aircraft in the sky for long enough, and eventually, fate will deal a fatal fluff. Which brings me neatly back to the 23rd of January, 1961. And our battered bomber plummeting towards the ground alongside 2 of the most powerful weapons ever built by man. The mighty plane broke apart as it fell, and the nukes were thrown clear. The first drifted slowly down to Earth after its integrated parachute deployed.
Thanks for stopping in, my
but
brother.
the second was speedier, accelerating to 700 miles an hour before smashing into the ground with the force of a meteor. As it happens, only one of the 2 bombs ever came close to detonating, and it's probably not the one you'd expect. The nukes were equipped with 4 different safety mechanisms designed to deter incidental detonation. In the case of the second bomb, the one that crashed into a field at close to the speed of sound, these mechanisms worked exactly as intended. As for the first bomb, well, let's just say things played out a little differently. You probably presumed the parachute I mentioned was some kind of safety feature to protect the bomb in the event of an accident. But in reality, it was a key part of the weapon's detonation sequence.
Keep it in the air for air
designed both to give a pilot time to escape after dropping his payload and
to
to facilitate an airburst explosion. One where the bomb detonates at a set altitude to ensure maximum destruction on the ground below. In other words, the fact that the first nuke's parachute deployed at all was a very ominous sign indeed, because it was preparing to explode. When a bomb disposal team arrived at the site the following day, they found the 3.5 meter, 3,000 kilogram weapon standing perfectly upright and intact. Its tip buried in the ground. It was an alarming sight all round. Although admittedly it was quite a bit better than the alternative, a giant crater of death and fire. In the years after the incident, there was plenty of debate as to just how close this weapon had come to exploding. Publicly, the US government played things down, claiming both nukes were deactivated, and that there was never any risk to the public.
Right. Anything that's on TV is for us to hear, to believe, not the truth.
It probably won't surprise you one bit that this was utter bullshit.
There you go.
In 2013, a newly declassified report revealed that 3 of the 4 safety mechanisms built into the first bomb had failed, and that only an electrical switch in the off position had prevented a firing signal from reaching the nuclear core. In other words, a solitary switch is all that prevented a full-scale detonation. One that would have killed tens of thousands of sleeping Americans in an instant, and risked the lives of millions more through nuclear fallout. It's worth pointing out that despite dodging a nuclear apocalypse, the Goldsboro crash was by no means victimless. There were 8 servicemen aboard the bomber when it went down. 8 servicemen, but only 6 ejector seats. 3 of the crew died. Though, remarkably, one of those not in an ejector seat, Lieutenant Adam Mattox, somehow managed to survive by flinging himself out of the plane's top hatch and deploying his parachute. To this day, this big, bald badass remains the only person in history to have bailed out of a B-52 cockpit without an ejector seat and lived to tell the tale. In the days and weeks after...
Listen, he runs a country. He's the president of a country, and the whole world should fear him, and they don't. So, they put a button on the nuke. 90% of people press the bang button. They put a button on the nuke. If they put a button, I want to play you two guys. I want to play 2 guys, right?
This nearest of
I can annihilate you guys too.
Commenced.
Hey,
the first bomb that almost murdered thousands proved to be the easiest since it was still in one piece. So they used an incredibly complex atom bomb disposal technique. They picked it up and stuck it on the back of a big lorry, very, very carefully. But things were a bit trickier when it came to the other bomb. Having smashed into a swampy field at a smidge under the speed of sound, the 3-ton weapon had burrowed 6 meters into soft ground, tearing itself apart in the process. The bombs contained 2 separate nuclear cores apiece to ensure maximum destruction on detonation. The recovery crew quickly located the first and largest of these cores, but the second was never found, despite calling in a fleet of industrial excavation vehicles. After weeks of fruitless digging, a decision was made for the hole to be refilled and flattened, and basically pretend the whole thing never happened. As you might have guessed by now, that lost core is the little secret I mentioned at the start of this video. To this day, a 6-kilo rod of weapons-grade plutonium lies somewhere underneath those trees. That's why the US Army purchased that particular patch of property, to ensure nobody ever forgot what lies beneath and decided to build a house on it, or something else really stupid. Remarkably, the rest of the field is still farmed to this day. What's also remarkably stupid is that the US Air Force was well aware of the issue that brought the bomber down that fateful night. Boeing had figured out that a recent modification they'd made to the wings could, under certain conditions, cause them to literally tear off.
Yeah, dude. They're all rather...
I'm no aviation expert, but I think that's pretty serious. The bomber in question had already been booked in for a refit to fix the issue, but apparently the Air Force decided that ferrying nuclear weapons across the Northern Hemisphere was a totally reasonable thing to do in the meantime. And, well, the rest is history. In some ways, you could say this story is a bit of a non-event.
No, I don't feel old
aside
anymore,
from the
though.
tragic
It's
loss of 3 crew members,
I used to. I felt old when I was in my 30s. I feel like I'm going to be here for a while.
For my money, the Goldsboro incident is one of the most fascinating sliding doors moments in history. A single electrical switch decided the fates not just of millions of Americans, but very possibly the entire world. After all, a 3.8 megaton hydrogen bomb exploding on American soil in the middle of the Cold War
we can share it.
could easily have had
Who's going to cut it up?
dire consequences.
Who's gonna
If the Americans
divvy it
thought
up?
they were under attack, the response would have been immediate and devastating. And even if they realized a nuke was one of their own, would the American government really have admitted to accidentally murdering tens of thousands of its own citizens? Or might JFK, on his first week in the job, remember, have been tempted to point the finger at the old Soviets next door?
Yep. Okay, Richard,
I guess we'll never know.
Dana
Thanks for
Carvey?
watching.
Oh, Dana Carvey from Tool. Yeah, wow, he definitely looks old, dude. Damn, that's probably a while ago, too. 1961. Yeah, he's freaking 16 years older than me. No way. He's 64, yep. Still freaking touring. Hey, that alien. All right, 5:30. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call over here. I'll be back at about 6:30. I'm going to clean up, eat, and then I'll be back with you guys in about a half hour or so. About a half an hour. Oh, dang it, I broke it again. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you. Love y'all. Bye. Bye-bye.